One. We are live, and I'm here with Michelle Roy. This is going to be very exciting. We're going to talk about branding and branding intuition. What does that mean? Because do we use our intuition in branding? I know we use our intuition in business, but is it different in branding? So I'm Veronica Jeans, and I'm an e-commerce queen. I'm a Shopify expert, and I'm a e-commerce business consultant. And Michelle is our branding specialist. She is all about branding with a difference, right, Michelle?
Yeah, you could say that.
And I love chatting to you because you have a different idea of how to brand people. You really get involved with people when you are trying to get their brand going, right? What do you do?
Yes. I think it's first to define yourself. You know, when we talk about branding, we're always talking about our product. Okay. But you are the one that's selling the product. And again, and we talked about this last week, you can buy that type of product anywhere.
Yes.
So in order for you to differentiate your brand, it's important to be bringing yourself to it.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know who they are.
Yes.
And in that, they don't really know how to sell their product. So I like to begin with, defining yourself, making sure you know who you are. That way you can be connecting to your intuition and you'll know how to sell your product.
Okay, this is a start. Okay, so tell me more about intuition. What do you understand about when you're talking about intuition?
We all have intuition. I think we kind of miss the mark when we think that only certain types of individuals can connect to their intuition. We're talking about psychics and mediums and those sort of people. But really, we're all here to do that, to be able to connect to our source, which is giving us our tools and instructions for our life. And a lot of people are looking for their purpose. And if they can connect with themselves and really get in tune with that voice that's inside of them, giving them information and instructions, then they'll be like, wow, that thing that I always felt good at, that is really my purpose because it's my gift, and that's what I'm supposed to be giving out. So if you can connect that to your business, you will feel so much better, and your brand will do so much better because then it feels like it has purpose.
Okay, so you're talking about the voice.
Mm-hmm.
I have a voice, but what do you mean by the voice?
Well, I guess for me, it is the voice of God, you could say.
Yes.
So I lean on that every day. Whenever I have a tough day, I know we all do, especially in business, you feel like, man, sales aren't coming and people aren't biting to my posts that I just made. I don't have any likes. No one's watching my video. You can sit back and spend some time with yourself, and you can ask questions out loud like, well, what am I doing wrong here? Or is there something wrong with the way that I'm branding? And you will get responses that let you know which direction that you need to go in.
Yeah. So Tim is asking, so how do you, and that's I want to ask that as well, is how do you figure out what your purpose is?
How do you figure out what your purpose is?
Yeah, that's a big question.
I mean, for me, I first kind of discovered that this is what I was supposed to be doing when I took inventory of the things that I was doing without getting paid for them. If people were already coming to me for advice and I was helping them and guiding them, then maybe I should be doing that.
Yes.
So if there's something that is innate in you, a lot of people are artists, they're painters,
yes,
graphic designers and people like that. Like when you're a child, the thing that you want to do all the time with your time.
Yes.
Or if it just happens naturally, because my mother will tell you that when I was a kid, strangers would come to me, even when we were out shopping, and they would say, blah, blah, blah. And then I would give them some sort of information about themselves or the day. So I've kind of always been doing that. So it's really been with you, your purpose and your path, since you started here. But we get so much information
Yes.
from society, media,
Yes.
our parents, our experiences that kind of turn us away from the voice
Yes.
that's within you saying, here, this is your direction. Go this way. Do this.
I like that because, talking about what we did in our youth. So when I played with my mates, I was the boss, and we always played business. And I was always, I was always writing out invoices. And when you're small, you don't actually write. You write like an adult. So it was like all this scribbling.
Right.
And I was always handing out invoices. Everybody was paying me. So I had my purpose.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe you should go back to what did you really enjoy doing? And it's literally, and I did that last year, is literally stepping back from your business and saying, okay, is this really what I want to do? Because a lot of times, and it has happened a lot of times in my life, is you jump into something because it's an opportunity, and we are entrepreneurs, so we tend to, oh, this is a shiny new object, and we're enthusiastic, and I tend to be, and I will help somebody start the business, right? So it's trying to do something for you and not for somebody else. So if you're in business with a partner, for instance, that's where I used to get into trouble, is stepping back and saying, is this business for me? Do I really want to do this, or do I just want to help this person create their business, right?
Right.
I was invited to create this women's group with Claudia Sheridan, and I've always, my whole business life in America, I've always wanted to create a new business, women's group, business group where you're actually learning stuff and, becoming famous.
Right.
So she wants to do it, and I said, oh, this is great, woohoo, let's do it. And I actually stepped back and said, and thought to myself, okay, so is this really what I want to do, or is this just one of my ideas? So you
Right.
literally have to, when you're starting something, is step back and go, is this really my path forward? Do I want to do this in 20 years' time, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a long path. I mean, but for us to get in front of our customers and to get known and create our brand, our personal brand, right? It takes time, right? Before people trust us and they get to know us. And it's easier nowadays online because we have so many people watching us, but
Right.
or connecting with us. But I think that people tend to jump in too fast before they realize, okay, this is not really what I wanted to do. What's the next train? What can I hop onto again, right?
And I will say this too, what you said about ideas. Now, I have ideas all day long coming from my intuitive center, but they're not all for me.
Yes.
So I really like to come up with an idea or think of something and meet someone who is participating in that sort of business or ready to do that thing. And I say, well, I have an idea for you.
Yes.
And I give them the idea that came to me, because I think that's one thing that we miss, is like trying to hoard everything that comes to us,
Yes.
instead of being able to share it with others because we feel threatened or we're not sure if we want to give away the idea.
Yes.
But it all comes back to you.
Yes.
If
Oh,
people-
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, because if they acknowledge that they've gotten that from you,
Yes.
then once that success is made from the idea, they can't help but to come to you and say,
Yes.
I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Let's break bread, or let me show love to you,
Yes.
because you gave me the idea.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you can help each other, right? So coming back to intuition as well, as I've always said that, is that gut feeling. And amazingly, apparently, scientists say that all your nerve endings are in your gut. So if you get that gut feeling of, this is not a good idea, or this is a good idea, you gotta listen. And a lot of times we sort of think that we don't actually think about it or take note of that gut feeling. And I've got into trouble several times, as my husband will tell me, because I've known it was a bad idea and I still jumped, right? So
Yeah.
if you look back, you can always see where in business where you say, I knew it, I had that gut feeling, but we don't listen because we don't step back, take a moment, think about it, right? And then jump.
Right. And then I feel like if you spend more time with yourself and acknowledging that feeling that you get whenever you are connected when you have a gut feeling, you'll be able to say, yes, this is not right, or yes, this is right, because you're more practiced in it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, you're listening to that more, you're feeling that more.
Yes.
So you're able to kind of lead with that.
Yes. Yeah, and so also, so purpose. Okay, so Tim said, asked us, how do you figure out your purpose? So is there a difference between your purpose and your business purpose, or are they the same thing? So is it a personal and a business, or, that's really a big question, I think.
I definitely think there's a difference. I think, especially whenever you are trying to figure out who you are, you can't sell anything. You know what I mean? When you're talking about business, you really need to be giving a product that people need.
Yes.
So there's a way, though, for you to find out who you are and what you're supposed to be doing here, and then formulate a product to serve the rest of humanity.
Yes.
From
Yes.
that knowing
Yes.
of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. So the purpose of your product then is to serve others
Yes.
in whatever way that they need. That's
Yes.
why we see various different products, because of course we all have many different needs.
Yes.
But that's why intuition is so important, because like I spoke about in one of my podcast episodes coming up, that I read this book, Draw the Circle. It's a 40-day prayer challenge. But in it, they talk about how George Washington Carver went out and spoke to the universe, spoke to himself to get all the information about how to become the peanut guru and what to do with all these peanuts. So when we find ourselves in a position where we don't really know what to do next, whether it's with our business or ourselves, you can stop and take that step back and sit with yourself for a while, and then you will hear what your next steps are. You might see a sign that says go forward or something like that. And it can be very subtle, but because we're not open to understanding that that's the way the universe really communicates with us, we sort of block those answers from coming to us.
Yes, yes. I think there's a lot of thing to joy. Do you actually enjoy what you're doing? Do you find joy in helping other people? But
Right.
the bottom line is, we are all in business. If you're in business, and we're in business because we want to make money. So don't confuse giving something away or giving away too much, like you did. I did it too. That's how I started.
Yeah.
I gave my workshops away, was for free. But you've got to be compensated for your knowledge. I mean, you've
Right.
worked really, really hard for the knowledge that you've accumulated with your intuition and your background and your ideas and your brain. And so you need to be compensated, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shame in saying you need to pay me for my time,
Yes.
because that's my energy. It's currency.
Yes.
So I'm giving
Love that.
this to you.
Yes.
So you pay me back in dollars.
Yes.
It's an even exchange.
That energy costs dollars. I love that. That's great.
mean-
I'm giving you my energy. Right. It's right. Because you get so enthusiastic with helping customers that, I mean, afterwards you need a half an hour rest, right? Because you're
Right.
like, rah, let's go. Yeah.
You really
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And it's like, people feel like they can't ask
Yes.
for people to pay them what they're worth, but you know what you're worth.
Yes.
Like you said, the time that you've spent studying,
Yes.
the amount of years that you've spent in practice, and then you have put the value on your own energy whenever you are. That's a self-care thing.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is a preservation of self-experience. It's
Yes.
about your boundaries, and you should have them in business and in life.
Yes. Say no. Keep those little
Yeah.
lips shut. I've told my mother, say no. Keep those lips shut. Because,
Yeah.
it's so easy to, because you feel sorry for somebody. And you know what, they don't have money. So what the hell? Okay, just let's make a plan. But I need to get compensated for the time that I give. And
Yeah.
it is not an easy thing. I get lectured about it all the time, believe me. Still, right? But
Yeah.
and it's right. I mean, it's all about self-care, because if you starting to give something away for free, you're going to start resenting that person, and you become unhappy, right? And everybody else around you becomes unhappy, because if mama's unhappy, everybody's unhappy, right?
Right.
So
Right.
yes, And so one good lesson I learned a long time ago in a sales coaching thing I did for a weekend, and it was a really interesting character. This guy was a drummer and musician, and he became a business owner. And he said that one of his his best advices that he ever got is, if you have a contract, right? You have a contract, and this was before the internet, and you shove it across the table, and you say, "This is my price." Keep your mouth shut. Don't start when they don't say anything. Don't start. Well, maybe I should give you a discount. Okay, maybe So and also this comes into e-commerce is we tend to give discounts too fast, right?
Yeah.
Offer your product if they want it. That's great. Offer that again, no discounts. And then if they don't buy, then only give a discount, and a small one.
Right.
Because there are so many people that actually just buy because they know they're going to get a discount the second time. Because people tend to give away their profits too fast.
Right.
So think about rather improving your profits by adding more value to your products than actually not, right? So instead of giving a profit, say, okay, so maybe I'll do fast shipping for you, right? And you do fast shipping anyway. They don't know it.
Well, I mean, I think there's a benefit to saying, here's a free resource. Like, that's why I like my podcast, because it's information about, rebranding your life, reinventing yourself without me having the one-on-one conversation.
Yes.
That will likely be, manifested after they have watched the video. They'll say, well, yes, I do want to talk to her.
Yes.
So having products that do give some information, but maybe keep a few things close to your chest or give them something else to look forward to are fine.
Yes.
But when we're giving out all of our hours,
yes.
If you want to create those free products in your time and then package them as a newsletter or something like that, that is fine. But giving away all of your hours and all of your services, I mean, it could be a detriment to you. And I did that for a long time because I was trying to get testimonials.
Yes.
And I was trying to have some receipts, I called them at the time. And it worked. But also, that's all that kept coming to me was people who didn't want to change currency.
Yes.
So, I had to kind of set a new boundary there.
Yes.
That just said, this is how I'm doing it. If you can't respect that, I guess you need to find a new creative consultant.
Yes, exactly. So, and so I've got some knocking going on here.
Understood.
We're all contained in our little boat. Anyway, so what we are also, so purpose again. Let me get back to the purpose, because a purpose in if we define the purpose in a business, it's pretty easy, because we want to help people, we want to solve their problems, and here's the product.
Right.
So and we talk about personal branding a lot, you and me. So when we are personally branding ourselves, how do we determine the purpose? Our purpose, right? So I mean, I know my purpose. I want to teach people. And I want to teach people about business. So I'm all about that, how to improve the business. And I get ideas, as soon as I start talking to people, I get ideas, and you got to do this. But my purpose, a lot of people find that they want a personal purpose and don't think about their business purpose. So those two things sometimes don't gel, right? Because my purpose is I want to help people get more food, and I'll go to Houston Food Bank and help them, right? That's my personal purpose, right? I want to just help people, but how does that flow into my business purpose, right?
Well, aren't you still helping people with your business?
Yes, right? Yes,
right.
That's exactly the answer that I want.
Yes, because for me, I think my purpose is to be here as a creator, to create the life that serves me,
Yes.
and to serve others and help people, and to spread love and kindness,
Yes.
and the importance of being honest and owning your truth.
Yes.
And I funnel that into my business by making my business purpose rebranding my Black community,
Yes.
and rebranding businesses who are aligned with the purpose of serving others,
Yes.
and talking to people, because I'm a communicator by nature.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I know that I wanted to talk to people. Well, how do you get paid to talk to people? Well, you become a consultant.
That was my problem. Yes, exactly.
You
Yes.
become a consultant.
Yes.
So you can get paid for the hours that you spend talking to people, because I'm giving out really good information.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And these are not just things that I'm making up.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are tested.
Yes.
All of my strategies are like, when somebody says they want to do something, I instantly see a grid and how all the dots connect.
Yes.
And then I say, just do this.
Yes.
And if you do this, then I see the way the ball bounces back to them.
Yes, exactly. So we've got Donna Martin on, Donna Mart Brown. She has the Missing Piece Puzzle Company, and she started with a purpose, right? So her purpose was, she's got her son is autistic, and so he really liked creating puzzles, and so she discovered, and obviously he was very hard on the puzzles, and she couldn't buy anything that lasts. So she created the business to create the puzzles for her son to play with. And that's how her business actually evolved. So she was fortunate that she had a purpose, and she created the business through that purpose. But sometimes we're already in business and then we go back and go, is this the right thing to do? And we also get caught in the business, right? We get caught in that business that we decided, this is what we want to do, we're in it, we are chugging along. Then we become unhappy because that inner intuition says, I'm not happy, I don't really want to do this. And then to get out of that business is really, really hard, because we made a mistake and we hate to admit we make mistakes, right? First.
Right.
And then trying to extract yourself, because we always think that people will go, well, that was a bad thing to do, But really, I think, when you do something like that, and it's not easy, it's like getting out of a bad relationship. Right, where you think, oh my God, this guy, so he's going to, he will love, he won't last without me, and
right.
And I feel, and you stay, and you stay, and you stay, and you become more and more and more unhappy. So, and it's the same thing in business, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to redefine yourself and step out of it and say, where am I going?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Am I going to be here in 20 years? Because those years disappear very fast. It's already halfway through the year and it's disappeared, right? Before we know it, it's going to be Christmas, unfortunately. And so we have to be really clear on our path that we want to go forward. Because you always you don't want to look back one day and go, I should have done that. Or even starting something, right? When you start something and you think about it and you don't ever get to start it, you don't ever get that step to go, I'm going to do it, right?
Right. And that's why I'm here.
Yes.
Because I want you to do it.
Exactly.
I want people to be like, I have an idea. Is this something that could be lucrative? And then you look at the idea.
Yes.
And you look at the market that it will serve.
Yes.
And as long as there's a market for that product, yes. It's worth it for you to try it.
Yes.
And that's kind of why it's important for you to define yourself in your business, because then you can easily say, well, this is my target. Because most of the time, just like with your client with the puzzle, that audience is just like you.
Yes.
So you can connect to them that way.
Exactly. So Tim says, bring yourself. Yes, bring yourself.
Yeah.
I've just discovered how to add people and comments onto the actual talk. This is brilliant, right?
All right.
So let's get back. I mean, this whole talk is about intuition, what we need to do, and what's the purpose of what we're doing. That sounds very confusing. But so I totally believe in writing down your ideas. And I mean, when we start thinking too much, you start overthinking things, and you get yourself in such a tangle that you go, okay, let me just go and read a book or go and have a cup of tea.
Right.
So is to write those ideas down and then decide, is this a good option or not? Even if you are in your business and you're running your business and you're saying, is this a good idea or not? You can still zig when you're supposed to be zagging.
Right.
Zag when you're supposed to be zigging or whatever. So yes. So and so I totally believe that you need to write things down. I was very, very fortunate having a business coach when I came to America, and I taught her how to exercise. She didn't know how to exercise or swim. We were swimming, and then she would give me some advice, business advice. And one of the things she said was, I wonder if I can do it here on my page. Let me just show it on the page. Most of businesses do this, right? They're all over the place. They just, our brains go bup, 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 because there's always new things and new ideas, and what do we need to do is, and she said, write it down and then create your business where it becomes silos, so that you create order in, and this is very crude, order in your business. So this is your main business, right? And these are your side ideas. And we talked about that last week, right? About those side ideas. So then also, so when you have your main business, you're focusing on it, and you're not feeling too happy about where you are at and whether you should be changing or not, you can develop something on the side because most of the time we're in business, and then we're paying our mortgages and we are paying for stuff, so you can't get out of it. It's really hard to get out of that financial risk, right?
Right.
So complementing the business on the side, developing that slowly and seeing if it works, will then maybe get you to get into something that you're actually happy about.
Right.
Right?
Right. I mean, be open to pivoting.
Yes.
Or be open to starting over.
Yes.
If you need to.
It's not that
like
easy.
when I first started, I was just making low-cost websites and helping people by making graphics and all these various things that weren't talking to people and getting paid for it.
Yes.
So I was like, this is not what I said I wanted to do.
Yes.
So I had to step back from it and say, am I running behind money?
Yes.
Or am I following my path?
Which is not easy, especially if you're depending on that money,
Right.
Been there, done that, right? So, so you have to be clear about, this is what I want to do, and say no to the stuff that is detrimental to your business, right? Detrimental to your path forward, not just your business, but your path forward, and then making yourself unhappy.
Right.
I mean, I know that if I say yes to some clients, some prospective clients, is that, and it's very low cost, I know that's going to be a problem, because they expect this much from this much, right? So
Right.
you got to control expectations, right, for you and for your client. So there comes that intuition back in again that says, don't do this.
Set that boundary. Put that fence up.
Yeah, say no. You're supposed to
Yeah.
say no. Don't feel sorry, right? Because
Right.
you really have to look after yourself first. And because if you're unhappy, you're not going to give your best to your clients, and you're not going to be passionate about your products because you don't want to sell your products. So
Right.
I mean, my first thing is, do you want to sell your products? Do you want to do what you want to do? Because if you don't, then you're going to be half-hearted. There's always going to be somebody or something that's going to detract you from what you're doing right now.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can't listen to your intuition because you're on the wrong path already.
Right.
Right?
Right. It's very important to check your vibration regularly.
Your vibration, I love that. Yes, 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 yes. Check your energy and your vibration. I love that, yes. And in business, all the time. Make sure you
Yeah.
are going the right way, right?
Right. And one thing I always say in terms of that is, are you selling what you think you're selling? Like if you say I'm selling pink hearts and the market is looking at you like you're selling turquoise squares, and every time you come in, we're like, well, that's not what you said it was. Like, you need to check against, yourself. Are you selling what you think you're selling?
Yes, be
It's
very
very
clear.
simple.
Yeah, be very
Yeah.
clear. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, this is brilliant. So we're going to be back on next week, right?
Yes.
And we are going to be talking about
Who knows?
it's a
Pivoting. Let's talk about how to pivot.
that's a brilliant idea. Yes, I think that's a great idea, especially now because so many people have to pivot. They
Yeah.
have to make a decision whether it is, improving their business, improving their websites, improving their stores, taking the next step. And Donna is amazing. She always has that list ready that I tell you what to do. So anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm very happy to have you back on again. This is very bright. I think I have my window open here. But
You look great.
and so we'll be back next week again talking about how to pivot your brand. Love it. Okay, thanks, Michelle. We'll be
You're welcome.
back. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.